right now. This is Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC 6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Cara Bailey. We are following breaking news this afternoon. A Patriots player is now accusing Providence police of, quote, unprofessional racism after he was involved in a traffic stop last night. According to the police report obtained by ABC 6, Christian Barmore was pulled over last night on Elmwood and Parkes Avenue for driving with an expired registration. Barmore's car was towed from the scene. He was picked up by another driver. In a post on X, Barmore said, quote, I just experienced for the first time 5 Providence cops being very unprofessional. Racism at its finest. According to the police department, PPSD accuses Barmore of, quote, giving police an attitude and trying to conceal an object. Police say when towing the vehicle, they discovered a blunt and several tubes filled with marijuana. Coach Gerard Mayo stated during a press conference today that he and the team are aware of the situation and he has spoken to Barmore since that incident. We are turning now to a massive fire in Cranston at the Applebee's and Garden City Shopping Center. Cleanup crews and investigators remain on scene at this time. Let's send things over to ABC 6 News reporter Caitlin Gelhaus. She is joining us live from the scene there in Cranston with the latest. Caitlin?
Yeah, well, Cara, that's right. The fire completely extinguished at this point, but there are still cleanup crews and investigators you can see behind me that are still trying to clean up this mess and figure out how this all happened. Now, what we know right now is that the Applebee's is a total loss because of that fire that started around 5:30 this morning. Crews said it took them hours to put this massive fire out. The chief says there was heavy smoke coming from the roof area when they arrived. It took around 45 firefighters to completely put the fire out after hours of work, as I mentioned. Now, they say the fire started in the kitchen and had spread to the attic. Officials explained to me the strategy they used to put this fire out.
It was too dangerous to put firefighters in that building due to the extent of the fire and the amount of the fire that were over their head in the attic space. So they deemed that it was going to be too much of a life safety issue if they put themselves inside. It's not a preferred way to attack a fire, but in this particular instance, that strategy worked well.
Now, the battalion chief also says there were cleaners inside of the Applebee's who called the fire in early this morning. Only a bit of smoke spread into Bistro 22, which sits right next to Applebee's, but firefighters were able to stop that spread right away. Now, right now, the investigation does continue to figure out how this all started. No injuries were reported on the scene for both those cleaners that were inside as well as firefighters. We'll continue to keep you updated as we gather information throughout the day. Live in Cranston, Caitlin Gelhaus, ABC 6 News.
Caitlin, thank you. 12:03 this afternoon. 2 people are in the hospital and a road remains closed in Fall River this afternoon following an early morning incident. Now, we first brought you this story as breaking news on Good Morning Providence. ABC 6 News reporter Josh Kerman was on scene all morning long. He's breaking down what we know so far.
Fall River police responding to a home on Dickinson Street just after 4:30 Wednesday morning for reports of a possible stabbing and shooting. A spokesperson with Fall River Police says 2 people are now in the hospital, a man with non-life-threatening injuries and a woman with serious injuries. The portion of Dickinson around this brown home was blocked off around 5 a.m. Neighbors tell me this is normally a quiet neighborhood, and the incident happened just down the street from Atlantis Charter School. As of now, no details have been released regarding any relation between the 2 people in the hospital, and no word on what may have led to this situation. We'll have any updates as this develops on air, online, and on our Now Local News app. In Fall River, Josh Kerman, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Josh. 12:04 this afternoon. You likely are reaching for a heavier coat these days. We've got Ceci Del Carmen standing by with a look at your local forecast. Ceci?
And then we'll be putting it away, my dear Cara. So yes, this morning, what a chilly morning. Tomorrow, we'll be needing that coat that Cara was mentioning as well. Lovely outside, but don't be fooled by that sunshine. Look at that temperature, 53 right now. That wind out of the west-northwest. A little bit blustery out there. Temperatures in the 40s for some, 50s for others. Here's the wind speed right now, and that is definitely influencing the actual temperature you see on your thermometer. The temperature by 2 o'clock, by the time that school bell rings to head off to afternoon activities for the kiddos, in the mid-50s. No issues on the roads this afternoon and evening commute, with temperatures falling to the lower 50s. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, we'll be with dry conditions. Temperatures may dip into the 30s for some, so we may be dealing with a little bit of patchy frost. But with that said, we're in store for temperatures to be warming up considerably as we head into the weekend. And I have some information from Climate Central for you regarding the late freezes locally. Those details ahead, Cara.
Thank you, Ceci. 12:05 this afternoon. Jury selection continues today in the trial for a second man accused of killing 24-year-old Maya Brophy Bayerman. Sean Mann is one of the two men charged in the murder of Brophy Bayerman. Tuesday, a questionnaire was given to potential jurors. Bayerman was killed back in August of 2021 by a drive-by shooting on Olney Street. Police believe the man she was with was mistaken as one of Mann and Pinkerton's rival gang members. Now, Pinkerton is already serving 2 life sentences. Mann, however, was not in the courtroom yesterday. Providence police are investigating after 3 people were shot outside of a home on Wayland Road. This shooting happened Tuesday afternoon. All 3 of those victims were hospitalized, but they are expected to be okay. Police have not shared any information or leads on any suspects at this time. We'll keep you updated on air, online, and on our Now Local News app as we learn more. Right now, a fire is under investigation after more than 60 firefighters worked to preserve a building on Westminster Street in Providence. Firefighters arrived to heavy flames coming from this building around 7:30 last night. Crews were on scene for multiple hours, spraying water on that fire from just about every possible angle. Officials say it's a 1-story commercial building that is some sort of garage or storage warehouse for vehicles. No surrounding buildings were damaged, but the corner of the building did collapse during last night's response. That fire did happen to be right next to a bar that had to be evacuated, and we were able to speak with the assistant fire chief and a man who was running trivia at the bar when that fire broke out. Here's what they said.
The best I can tell you is possibly maybe gas tanks that were involved. That's why I'm saying it's some type of a garage or a storage warehouse for vehicles. There are some empty vehicles inside there, so that's where possibly the explosions came from.
I had uniformed people coming in here telling me that I had to clear the building. I never ever had to go on microphone to tell anybody that, so I made sure everybody was out of there in an orderly fashion.
Now, officials say no one was inside of the building at the time of that fire and no one was hurt. That fire remains under investigation this afternoon. 12:08 is your current time. An investigation is also underway in Portsmouth following a house fire there. Take a look at this. Details are still coming in, but what we do know is that that fire was reported on Sea Spray Lane. You can see on this video shared with ABC6 News, firefighters had to spray this severely damaged house from up above. We have reached out for more information. We will update you as soon as we learn more. The Providence City Council is set to hold another meeting today on its comprehensive plan. This is the last public input session as it moves closer to being enacted. Now, the comprehensive plan is a blueprint for how officials want the city to grow over the next decade. It influences everything from historic districts to environmental policy, housing, zoning, everything in between. A full draft of the plan is available for you online if you'd like to review it. The City Council will meet tonight at 5:30, and while written testimony was due last night, you will still have an opportunity to speak at that meeting tonight if you'd like to weigh in on the process. 12:09, the Providence School Board will meet tonight to provide budget update information. This coming a week after the superintendent and the mayor had a public spat about additional funding. Last week, Mayor Brett Smiley called an impromptu press conference to express his deep frustration with the Providence Public School District for implementing a 24-hour deadline for $10.9 million in funding that Dr. Javier Montanez said was crucial. In a letter to the superintendent, Smiley said he would commit to giving an extra $1 million to the district if the state gives $3 million. PPSD will give that update at 6 o'clock tonight. We've got some more breaking news for you this afternoon. More than $95 million has been awarded to the state of Rhode Island to fund the Washington Bridge. Now, this is according to a new release from state officials just moments ago. With the additional federal funding, Rhode Island now has more than $220 million in federal funding. The funding is through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. This is the second major federal grant awarded to fund the reconstruction of the Washington Bridge. Demolition work on the westbound side of the Washington Bridge is once again underway after a month-long pause. And now we have learned from the governor that the timeline on when it'll be done has been extended into next year. 12:10 this afternoon, still to come for you here on your ABC6 News at noon. We've got to look at your full forecast. Here's Ceci.
Dry conditions and the sunshine through the 7-day forecast with temperatures heading into the 70s. I'll give you all the details when and how long that will last in a few moments.
Stay with us. We'll also have updates on the presidential election straight ahead on your News at Noon.
At 1-800-GOT-JUNK, we'll remove any size mattress, just $89. All you have to do is point. Have a box spring too? We'll take both for just $149. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Give the gift of companionship. Our Joy for All companion pets help alleviate social isolation and loneliness by delivering joy, fun, and happiness to improve quality of life for older loved ones. Joy for All companion pets are interactive with lifelike movements and sounds. These pets respond to your voice and touch. Our Walker Squawker is the perfect walking companion. This lovable bird will playfully sing, chirp, and react to your movements and speech. Give the gift of companionship by visiting joyforall.com today.
Preparation, teamwork, fight. You'll find these words on bulletin boards, wristbands, and in locker rooms across Rhode Island and Massachusetts. At Bottaro Injury Lawyers, these are more than just words. They're the values that we use every day to help injured people rebuild their lives. And that's why, if you've been injured in a car crash, it's good to know Mike Bottaro. Call Bottaro Injury Lawyers, 777-7777.
At 1-800-GOT-JUNK, we'll remove any size mattress, just $89. All you have to do is point. Have a box spring too? We'll take both for just $149. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
ABC6 weather with Ceci Del Carmen. Brought to you by the Preserve Sporting Club and Resort.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about warmer fall and later freezes. We just got this information from Climate Central. So the warming driven by carbon pollution resulting in more freeze-free days, longer annual growing seasons, and the warmer fall does worsen. For example, we could be seeing that risky heat and also longer need for cooling our environment. Now, the first freeze date for the city of Providence would be between today and the end of this month. But what's happening? Later first freeze has delayed by 14 days since 1970. Now, we're talking about frost types, right? And the light frost would be between 29 and 32 degrees. Yes, killing some tender plants, but also the moderate frost between 25 and 28, widely destructive to vegetation, and most plants would be devastated by 24 degrees or colder. And we're talking about the potential for a patchy frost tonight, but the temperatures will be warming as we head into Friday. So yes, we are with chillier than average temperatures for today, overnight tonight, and into tomorrow. Dry conditions as well. But with that said, these temperatures will be climbing. So today, approximately 10 degrees below average. The highs for today in the mid-50s, mid to low 50s across the board as we head into the overnight hours. This is where we could see that patchy frost possible, and that is locally. Other areas could be dealing with that frost. Today, tomorrow, these temperatures below normal, but notice we'll be going from 60 to the low 70s by Friday into Saturday and Sunday. Chance of rain? No, we're not seeing chance of rain locally, and overnight tonight we'll be enjoying a spectacular view of the Hunter's full supermoon. Peaks tomorrow first thing in the morning, but overnight clear skies will accompany us. These temperatures falling into the mid to upper 30s. Tomorrow, another beautiful days in store with these temperatures in the mid 50s. And as we head into Friday, these temperatures will be around that 60-degree mark. Dry conditions overall, but then a coastal or a storm over the Atlantic waters could bring a little bit of cloud cover and the chance of rain, gusty winds on the Cape and the islands and locally as well. But overall, dry weather is expected. A little bit of activity over the tropics. Notice these temperatures, beautiful weather, mostly sunny skies, and these temperatures in the mid to low 70s as we head into the weekend. Enjoy this beautiful stretch of weather. And looking forward to these mild temperatures by the weekend. We'll be back with more news. Carl will be back with more on the other side of the break.